with Sebastian. You guys know him as Mad. He's here for the Analyst desk at the main event. So, didn't have to come for the group stage. They brought you in for the main event. You're like the big guns for the main event Analyst desk. You've been watching, obviously. What are your initial impressions of the group stage so far?
It's very entertaining, actually. I wouldn't say more than the other. I know people say a lot it's better than TI4 or whatever. I don't really compare, but it's very entertaining. The games are really good to watch.
Well, we'll see once the bracket stage happens.
Yep.
The TI4 group stage was very entertaining
Exactly.
too. Yeah, there were a lot of surprises. I don't think quite as many long games with rapiers and stuff.
Yeah,
sure. But we'll see. And what do you think is gonna happen? Give me some predictions.
Well, what I like a lot about what's happening right now is that every team really has their a different play style. They just go for their heroes. Sure, you have some heroes like Leshrak or I know not that they're really contested, but besides that, it's very you see a lot of different play styles, different way to some are very aggressive, some are super defensive. So it's super
specifically
nice to watch.
like what
I don't know, you have the classic LGD, we have nukes, we have physical damage, magical damage, we have stuns, we have everything. The draft is very stable, they have strong lanes, they play their own Dora behind Sylar. And
it's nothing super creative, it's just...
No, it's just very standard. It's Shadow 8 all over again. Then you have some teams like Secret, they have their own playstyle, they push the lanes all the time. It's very, very specific playstyles. And the way they play, then they can even use heroes like Techies that work really well with the way they play. So it's very entertaining as well. And you have, you have complexity, 5-man, 5-man Dora, and they play very efficiently. I don't know, there are so many different playstyles, and all of them are doing quite fine, So that's what's nice about it. Other TIs usually have a team that figured out the patch better than the others, and then everyone just adapts. Here it's quite different. I like it.
And the surprise of the group is Cdec.
Yeah.
Number one, pretty much guaranteed at this point. Almost, at least. What are they doing that's so good?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure. I think people underestimate them a lot, because I've been watching them very closely during the World Card, and then I was like, yeah, that's not gonna be good enough for the group stage. And then I stopped watching them, and I saw that, I was watching the other games rather, and I saw that they started 2-0ing everyone. Then I went back to watching them. So they have this momentum now, and they're really good. But I don't think, sure they placed top 1, but I don't think they're gonna do well in the brackets. I think they're gonna, when it gets to the bigger games and when the teams are actually gonna invest time into, just being ready for
3 days,
aggression.
right? 3 days to look at who you're playing. Yeah.
I don't want to jinx it because I really like Dark Horses, but I think that Cdec is gonna it's gonna be hard. They're gonna have to be ready. I could see them 0-2 into loser bracket, into out.
So, Cdec, if they're picking their opponent, they're gonna have to choose between Complexity and C9, most likely.
Yeah.
So you think those two teams match up well against?
I think
Cdec?
Cloud9 is gonna do really well versus Cdec, and I think Complexity is gonna lose if they have to play Cdec. Or it's gonna be. I'm not sure, but I would pick Complexity if I was Cdec, especially with this playstyle they have. Cloud9 is doing way better. I don't know. Cloud9 is always this.
That means it'll be Cloud9 versus EG.
Yeah, that's
First
gonna
round.
be amazing.
Yeah, that
but
would be.
It's always this mystery with Cloud9. It's they're doing they're not doing so good, and then suddenly they change something, and then they're insanely good, and you're like, all right, so they got it. Now we're getting the real Cloud9, and the game after they do this shit again. And they start. You're like, I don't understand what they're doing. Honestly, it's really weird.
I was sitting with the Archon coaches, and they were just like, why Envy makes it a super risky game on his back.
Yeah.
And it was like...
Yeah, but he's crazy.
Yeah, he's
you don't do this.
Anti-mage rapier, just trying to split push, cutting waves and stuff. And
that guy's insane.
If he messes up, then they're just out.
Yeah, and I saw him. He was cutting a wave with Ring of Health and Portraits. What are you doing? It's nah. But sometimes I think they overthink stuff. Sometimes they could play. They could make their life easier with the way they play. I'm watching games and I'm like, all right, this game's over.
Then it wouldn't be C9 then.
No, it wouldn't be C9, right? But they have their players are so good individually. Honestly, they're smart and they're good, and that's not something. It's not easy to get, smart and good players at the same time, and they have 5 players like this, I think. But some are better, some are worse, but whatever. But overall, they're a great team. But I feel like they're not using their potential. Now they went back to more mobile heroes. I saw they're picking Wisp a bit more, Beastmaster, stuff like this. This is C9. This is how they play well. The rest, I don't think they're good at pushing their advantage. Like, not as good as the other teams. I don't think they're good at ending the game. I don't think they're good at. I don't know. I think they're good at C9 Dota, and they're really good at it, and they're super scary to play against.
You need to merge complexity with C9.
Exactly.
When C9 takes the lead, then you switch into
complexity, and then
they push the tower.
And then they're unbeatable because they're so good on the laning phase. You give Misery a lion, and he's gonna roam the map as if he was a spirit breaker, and then he's gonna get kills all over the place with a lion level 2. Who does that? But then they have this advantage, and you're like, all right. I mean, they did the hardest. No, they just have to end it, and then they can't. So you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's very confusing to watch.
So we haven't actually seen one of the top Chinese teams play against the Techies yet.
Yeah.
So I want to see that.
It's only in secret and complexity, right? Drafting.
Yeah.
For the most.
Mostly, yeah. But when we get to the bracket stage and you run into, let's say, LGD or Cdec, like Cdec versus complexity, that is a very, very likely candidate for complexity to be like,
definitely.
Let's just throw a Techies in there for one of those games and see how they react to it. Because the Chinese teams, clearly, they're not experienced against the hero.
Who's experienced versus Techies, though?
Right.
How do you play versus Techies?
It changes the game completely. So what do you think about that?
Well, to me, to play versus Techies, it's mainly pub experience because, I mean, all of us, we only have pub experience with Techies and against Techies.
And it's just frustration.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a lot of frustration. But, I mean, if you actually want to play the game seriously, I think the best way to play versus Techies is you deal with him in the laning phase. You know where he is, and you play around it. So, he's mining bottom, he's mining top, whatever. Just focus on other lanes. He's really bad at laning, so you know that part of the map, when you go there, you're going to have to go there with sentries and stuff. You just ignore it. But and then you should be looking to group up and push at some point, because what I feel is that teams like Secret, when they draft Techies, they always have a lot of anti-push, because they understand that they don't want the game to end minute 20 when Techies is actually useless, because he is useless minute 20 if you just D-ward. But I saw Secret versus Complexity, and then what happened is that Complexity, they first picked Techies, and then they went into some Viper, heroes that are good. They were probably good for the game. But you know that when you play with Techies, they're gonna be looking to end the game before Techies is actually a real issue, when he get Aghanims and stuff like this, or whatever he's gonna get. I mean, levels. And so what happened is that Secret instantly drafted a Pugna support, random Pugna support, just because they wanted to be able to brute force. That's what happened. So yeah, when you pick Techies, you need to think a lot about the heroes you get around him. You can get late gamers, the way you itemize as well. Getting Midases is really good, stuff like this. But I think my approach to Techies would be to just punish the fact that he's useless if you're not if you're not 5-manning with a gem, if you 5-manning with a gem, then Techies does nothing.
What about you personally? When you're watching this, you antsy to play?
Yeah,
you just want to play the whole time?
It's awful. It's the worst feeling, honestly. I mean, I'm having a really good time watching the games, watching great players, great teams, but it's very, very frustrating. and it's been 2 years now, so I think either I get it either next year I'm in
TI6,
or majors,
or you're Analyst full time.
I'm gonna kill myself. I can't take this anymore.
No. No.
I'm sitting there all day watching game after game. No, it's fine. I mean, it's still TI is awesome, but I would like playing.
So the Blitz and Cinder, and I'm sure a lot of those guys say the same thing. They want to play, but. Next best thing, you get to be here.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
get to watch someone win $8 million.
Exactly. How good is
man,
that?
congrats.
You feel very happy for him, right?
And the time coming up for the majors roster and all that stuff, that's soon.
Yep.
And I think it's also important, to not saying anything's gonna happen with Alliance or whatever, but this event's like a networking event for all the players. If you're a player, and you want to play in the next major, you should be here and you should be talking to guys, because the teams are formed
it's always
all
this.
underneath the under the table, very
this is
quietly,
this is the shuffle is happening right now. It always happens like this at TI.
If you were a gossip columnist and you could be here listening to all that stuff, you would get.
But also you need to know how it works, because at first, also I've never been that type of guy that would go to talk to people, as in, let's make a team, I don't know, I'm not that direct, and it felt wrong at first, but it's always like this now. I'm not saying that's what I'm doing right now, but I mean, you know, people talk to each other, and usually you can see who talks to who, and you have a good idea of what's gonna happen. My prediction is that there's gonna be like the biggest Western reshuffle. That's my prediction.
The biggest? What do you mean?
A huge one.
Like everyone just goes from 0 to
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are gonna reshuffle a bit, at least. Are gonna adapt.
You think the brands will keep their core players? Maybe.
Honestly, I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but yeah, most likely. But I mean, the thing is now we're entering a new era for Dota. Like this, like we're gonna have to freeze players and stuff, and that's very new. So
and the you get subs, right?
Yeah,
that'd
that's different. That to me that's I mean, the problem right now is that it's not like football or whatever, where you can actually go to someone and tell him, because the thing is those subs are not playing in Dota. You know, in other sports they are actually playing sometimes. You know, you change players during a match, but that never happens in Dota. I don't think it can't happen, even if they implement it, you know, in-game wise. It's never gonna happen. You're not gonna. I mean, you know, you need, like, it's too hard to get into a game and then, you know, you just play for me. And you're like, what? I don't understand what they have, what items.
Or game 2.
What is going on? You know.
Or no, you swap between games.
Yeah, and also he can't be watching the game and then get in, because then he has too much information. You know, he sees the enemy.
Right.
You know? So it's really weird. Maybe if they find a feature where the guy can actually be sitting on his computer. No, but really, why not?
That changes it so much, though. I mean,
in the future, he's sitting on his computer, you know, he's watching, and then he has the fog of war and everything, and then he switches in. I don't know, but either way, I think.
No. You have the subs play 1v1 mid in another map,
and
then
to warm up, but then
after like 20 minutes, you just throw them both into the game.
Yeah, but then he doesn't even know which item he has. 6-0. I hope you never implement that one. No, but I mean, I could see this sub slot work for like top poppers and stuff like this. You know, people that they don't have a team, so they don't really mind, and then you know, they get known like this, and then someday they just stand in, and then, you know, eventually.
The way it works for League is they have a main LCS team, and they have a challenger team that plays in qualifiers.
Yeah.
And then once they get good enough and they maybe qualify, the brand kind of like sells off the team. Like sometimes they sub in if one of their players is not doing well, they'll replace them with a farm person that comes up.
Yep.
But otherwise, usually the team gets transferred to another organization.
Okay.
That doesn't have an LCS team.
All right.
But I think that the difference between Dota and League in the sense is that in League the brands are the biggest part. You know, like TSM, you know, Cloud9, like those.
In Dota
those
it's
guys,
more the players.
Yeah, in Dota it's like the players. You know, like this year is a perfect example of that. Secret, a team that has no history, just formed.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're probably one of the more popular teams.
Yeah.
And if some of their players leave, the Secret brand is pretty much,
it's
you need to have so it really is all about the players, and that's why I think the subs is going to be tough, because
it is for sure.
Yeah.
The only way I could see it work is for as I said, top poppers, and then they would be interested. It's a way for them, and you know, like they can be used in scrims mainly, because a lot of times you're not 5, you know, people aren't here and stuff, and then you just play with those subs a lot, you know, and then they get used to your play style, and one day they become some sort of coach. I don't know, they could have a lot of, you know, and they're gonna be willing to invest that time to be around because they want to get there eventually. I mean, in the competitive scene, so it could work. You know, it's a way to groom them as well. I think it could work this way. Like, it's the better use I can see of it.
Okay. All right. Well, 3 days. We have 3 days to kind of after today to kind of think about this. We think that all the teams will prepare some cool stuff for the bracket stage, and look forward to seeing you on the desk. Do you have any last words you want to say?
Nah, just enjoy TI.
Enjoy TI? All right, cool.